Are you listening? Are you watching? You know what it is, not just boxing. From the canvas to the madness, sit down and get yourself locked in. Are you listening? Are you watching? You know what it is, not just boxing. From the canvas to the madness, sit down and get yourself locked in.
There are a lot of people out there that will happily fight you, but the politics in boxing, it's just trying to get everything to meet.
I'm kind of ghosted by a lot of people, and that's from the boxers because they obviously know I'm the worst style to fight. To the promoters, don't really want to mention me because then their fighters will have to be linked to me and stuff. I'm ghosted by a lot, which is for a long time I had to pull it down as kind of bittersweet, like a backhanded compliment, but no, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare for me. I'm 30 years old now. I want these big fights now.
Well, you're starting to. So since we last spoke, you're starting to knock guys out. Starting to show a bit more power in the Mckinson in your fights. So you had a great knockout in Italy. Yeah. And then you also had a stoppage. When was your last fight?
So I've boxed once since then, but I stopped a guy from South America at Bournemouth Football Stadium last year, the Vitality Stadium. I dropped him really heavy in the first round. A great shot. He got up. If he didn't get up in that first round, that would have been a great. And then he kind of survived round by round. He was still there, and I eventually got to him, and the ref jumped in round 7, I think. That was last May. And I boxed in December. I boxed an undefeated guy from Ghana. Which he had a bit of pedigree, boxed in the Commonwealth Games as an amateur and stuff, but I beat him every round for the WBC international title.
Was that this one?
Yeah, that one there. So it's a title I'd won back in 2017 against Colin Lyons. So it's the title that I regained, basically. I won that in December, and I've not boxed since. It's been a little bit frustrating first half of the year.
So what's actually changed, though, since you've started dropping guys, stopping guys? I know you've dropped guys previously anyway, but what's changed in your training and what you've been doing fighting for this to sort of happen later on? Are you looking for it a bit more now? Are you sitting on your shots more?
I've had quite a good strength team over the last probably 2 years. I work really closely with my physio, Cam Brew, who obviously you know from SCRX Physiotherapy. He's brought on another guy with us called Veli as well. So I trained down Portsmouth Uni, and we've been on a nice programme for the last couple of years. And obviously, before the Ortiz fight, this was, and then since the Ortiz fight, we've kind of had to step back a level or two in opposition, and them guys haven't been lasting with me. And camp by camp, I do get stronger. Camp by camp, I do hit PBs in the gym and stuff like that. So yeah, we're still improving. We're still getting stronger, and I guess I'm getting more exciting. Last year, so going into 2023, I was in a frustrating period because people were saying, "Oh, but he can't punch. He's not exciting enough." So I went into last year with a mission to stop people, and 2 of my 3 fights I stopped. I got them out there. So I'm trying to put people's critiques to bed, as to speak, and it is working. I'm not just a slick, awkward counter puncher that coast fights on points. I can get stuck in when I need to, and I went into it last year with a mission, and I passed.
Yeah, so the majority of boxing fans aren't diehard boxing fans that appreciate, the angle changes, the footwork, all of boxing. So now you're showing that other side where, people are seeing someone on the canvas, they are seeing you put the fight to bed. Yeah. That entertainment is going to probably drum up a lot more for your upcoming fights anyway, right? Does that make you want to entertain even more? Not just box, not just win, but to put on a show.
You've got to be a realist. Like you said, the majority of boxing fans are there to see knockouts. There's very few boxing purists that appreciate the boxer's skill set and defensive moves and IQ. People want to see excitement, and I'm a realist. I do obviously know that, and when I can, I'm going to get stuck in. It's something we've been working on a bit more over the last probably 18 months, a year. You know, I've got that IQ, I've got that skill set and the brain when I need it, but we just work on things that I haven't been as good at in the past, and we can see that in my performances.
Mm. And as a right-handed southpaw, I think that gives you so many advantages over a regular southpaw. Obviously, you're always going to have strengths and weaknesses, but surely being a right-handed southpaw must help you in so many, like even just with a stiff jab.
More dominant with my front hand, but because I've been a southpaw for so long, I'm actually stronger, and I hit harder with my left than my right. So my right's more dominant, but I'm stronger. So it makes it even more awkward and confusing for my opposition. You know, like in the gym and stuff, I'm really dominant with my, like in like S&C and stuff, I'm really dominant with my left side because I'm stronger with my left because I've been southpaw all these years. Just can't right left-handed. And obviously I've got a good jab, a good front hook to make it harder for my opponents.
Yeah. So how was your trip to America as well? We've not spoken since then. You had a training camp out there.
Yeah, so for my last one, we went out to, lucky enough to get the sponsorship to go out to New York. We had some hard rounds and some tough gyms out there. Went to Gleason's gym. We also went to a real good gym called Cops and Kids over in Brooklyn. So, it was very good. And I was fortunate because a lot of these camps I have, my dad will send me here, there. He sent me all over the world on my own to get sparring. But this time, I was lucky enough to have Lucas with me. Even though he wasn't in camp, he came over and he was out running with me and training with me and sparring hard himself. And I'll tell you the only thing, living with my dad for the few weeks I was there was tough. It was tough, but... I'm
sure he said the same about you.
Yeah, but it was... it was good. I'm in a very fortunate stage where I'm being able to go away, and like I know if I have a camp in Portsmouth, I'm not going to be out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to have it easy, and there'll be not a lot of development that happens. So I like to get away as much as I can.
Do you train with? Do you have any sort of one-to-ones with any coaches out there? So a lot of over the years, a lot of times I've had to go on myself without my coach. So when I do. You obviously train in gyms with good fighters, and you learn loads off of them. And then the coaches will give you time as well. So it was a good place to learn. Especially when I go on my own as well. Obviously, the last camp was luxury. I got to have my dad and my brother there, so it was good for all of us to be there, to have it hard together and develop together.
My name is Dennis McCann, professional boxer for Frank Moore and MTK Global. This is Fortress Boxing. A lot more protection, it's a no-brainer. Around your thumbs, around your knuckles, around my wrist. That's exactly where the problems are. They're very compact, so I feel like I'm punching hard with them on as well. And I feel like when you got sparring 14, 16 ounce gloves, the smaller wraps can't really. They're too small for the gloves. That makes sense. So these are a bit bigger, and they're getting the gloves a bit more. They're making them more compact. 1, 2, hook, go.
So what is next for you this year? Have you got any possible plans? Any fights?
I came into this year with a few kind of promises that didn't happen. I boxed in December. I came into the new year flying. All over Christmas and New Year I was training. So I thought that I was boxing in March. There was a possibility, and it didn't happen. And it just, for a while, I started to get frustrated this year, and I put on a little bit of weight, and I had my 30th birthday in April with nothing even talked about when the next fight's going to be by then. So I got out of shape. I'm back in semi-relative shape again now. The good chance I could be fighting in the beginning of August. So we're hard at work at the moment. We are in camp. There's no more I know about that at the moment, which we're only 8 weeks away. So I'm sure over the next few weeks we'll start finding out more. There's a lot of other things that could happen this year. Obviously, David Avanesian, who I wanted to fight, was mandatory for the European. Now he's fighting Boots out in the States, so that opens up a few doors for the European mandatory. Who's that going to be, and stuff like that. Where in the rankings, I'm the next kind of available welterweight in the rankings. So depends what the European wants to do and the champion wants to do the European. But that is something that I could have my eyes on at some point this year as well. So
who would that be against? Who else is ranked there?
The European champion at the moment is an undefeated French guy called Jordi Weiss. I think he's a little bit looked after, so I don't know if he will fight me or if he'll vacate. If I'll get made mandatory, I don't know. But that's all, I guess, we'll know in the next few months. But
IBF are pretty good at ordering.
No, this is the European.
Oh,
so
sorry.
the EBU. So not the bout Lucas. This is the actual European.
Gotcha.
So hopefully, maybe I could get something out of that. But if not, we've got a date cemented, and there's some possibilities that are going to happen later down the year as well. So the first half of the year was very quiet and frustrating. The second half of the year looks a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. And how do you keep progressing now at 30?
Yeah.
What are you now focusing on as you're in your prime of your career? What are the main things in your training?
I'm focusing on a few grey beards that I've got coming through. I was looking at myself the other day. But I'm still improving in like my camps and stuff. Although my biggest fight came 2 years ago, I'm still improving in the gym every camp I have. Improving as an athlete, bettering myself in different areas and stuff. So I'm still on the up, as I say, although I'm not a prospect anymore, and I have hit 30, and I have been a pro for 10 years. I am still on the up. It's just about trying to get the opportunities, which I waited ages to get my opportunity, and I finally got it against Congo. Then things were good for a couple of years. I'm kind of in that position again, waiting for this opportunity. As soon as I'll get it, I'll smash whoever's put in front of me, and then I'll be there again. Because you look at my record, I'm, without sounding like big-headed and stuff, I've had 27 pro fights, I've had 26 wins, and the only loss has came against Virgil Ortiz. I took him further than anyone else. He's had 2 fights since, and he's knocked them both out in the first round. So it just shows the level I'm at. So yeah, I've got the most colourful CV of any other 147 in the UK. I think I am the best 147 in the UK. So you look at my record and you think, wow, but why am I not getting mentioned? It's ridiculous, really.
Yeah. So you spoke with Conor Benn at York Hall at your brother's title fight.
Yeah.
There was lots of videos of everyone. As soon as you stood next to him, I saw so many people filming.
Yeah.
So what happened there? What did you talk about?
Well, there was a few names there. Chris Congo was there. I went up to Chris and shook his hand, congratulated him for the Marku win and stuff.
Yeah, that was a great win.
Yeah, great win. I was rooting for him as well.
Same.
So I'm happy, genuinely happy for Chris. Chris Congo's a big part of my story. So although there's always a bit of beef, I'm always rooting for him, really. So yeah, I see him, and then I see Conor. And the last kind of thing I had between me and Conor was after he boxed Dobson in his last fight. I went to Twitter and said, all of a sudden Conor Benn's looking ordinary, and he couldn't get him out of there, and blah blah blah. And he kind of ruthlessly replied with some abuse and a picture of Sloth from the Goonies. So that was the last thing I've ever had with Conor Benn. And I went up to him and he kind of apologised straight away and said he's not in charge of his Twitter, and he wasn't happy when they wrote that about me, blah, blah, blah. He didn't want any beef between us two. With Conor Benn, it's a bit of a strange one, because I've seen interviews with him that really bigger me up. I remember there's an interview out there, the only 2 welterweights capable of UK welterweights capable of winning a world title is me and Mckinson, he said. But then flick over in another interview, he's slating me, put a camera in front of me. So I think he is very fake, Conor Benn. I don't know his situation at the moment. I don't think he's allowed to box anywhere at the moment, or something like that.
Well, they reinstated his ban just under a month ago.
Yeah,
but I don't know if that was just in the UK.
I spoke to him, and I think it's a few more places in the UK, but I'm sure there'll be loopholes in it for him.
There'll
and
be
I'm
a state in America that he can go to.
Or a dingy country that will sanction him a fight, and because it's Conor Benn, there's the money behind him and stuff. I don't know, but
I will be honest. I think the way it was all handled with him, with the drug test, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But also, he's been very much criticised by everybody when there's so many people failing drug tests every week at the moment that are going under the radar. I'm not going to say loads of names and go into it.
You're right.
But there are so many people that hate Conor Benn, talk about the eggs, talk about everything else, fair enough. But no other person that's failing a drug test. It's like even you had Canelo team, Eddie Reynoso, another one of his guys got popped last week. And that's like, 5 people in his camp?
Yeah. I think the way Conor handled it wasn't, I think, the best in the first place. I think he handled it in a real bad... I think he knows that as well. And it's just, I think it would have probably been over and done with by now if he handled it the right way. And obviously he didn't, and it's got worse and worse for him.
It showed a lot of flaws in boxing. It showed a lot of flaws in how even promoters have so much of a say over drug tests. Like he had failed the drug test leading up to Chris Eubank fight. Yeah. And the fight was still going ahead with everyone knowing. So just how do you...
I think that made it blow up even more, that it was literally a few days before the fight. Like, do you know what I mean? Made people's attention to it even more. So... I don't know. I think the way everything was handled, and you're right. A lot of people are getting found out in drug testing in boxing, and you need to knuckle down on it more. I think, like the ones I've had. I remember being drug tested against Ortiz in the States, and normally they don't give you privacy at all. And I walked into the toilets to do the urine sample in Texas, and the official that was officiating everything, like the drug testing, turned his back and gave me privacy. And I think that was ridiculous. That had never happened over here to me for all the drug testing. And even when I fought in LA, that didn't happen. And I thought that was ridiculous. All that was going through, and this was before the fight. They do it before the fight over there. All that was going through my head is they're giving Ortiz privacy in the other room. Who there's always some sort of speculation on Ortiz.
Yeah. There will be when you got 100% knockout rate.
Yeah. So that was all that was going through my head when I was being drug tested out in Texas. So I think there's a lot of people, and even a lot of people that haven't been found out yet, that are up to something. There needs to be more to it, 100%.
Yeah, it's a shame to watch as a boxing fan, because as well, you could look at the history of legends that have failed tests, and it does put that taint on their career. Yeah, it is pretty sad.
I think Conor Benn's name would be tarnished a little bit for a long time because of it, because of how loud and brash he is with things and how his character is, and for all that to happen and then this to happen, I think it will be tarnished for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's gone from being loved by a lot of people to kind of being hated by loads of people now, Conor Benn, because of the character he was, and then this to happen. So yeah, feel for him a little bit, but at the same time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because you could look at someone like Tyson Fury that's just come off a loss against Usyk, but had failed a drug test, had all of that in the past. And I do believe Conor Benn has had it much harder than any other boxer.
He has.
So I do feel bad for him there. But also, he is a big name. As soon as everything's sorted out...
He tried going against the British Boxing Board of Control, and that's a stupid move, really, I think. And you got a really fair play to the British Boxing Board of Control for sticking it out and not going against their word. Really. I think they've done a really solid job.
It's an absolute pleasure to have Gymfluencers on board as a sponsor for Season 5 of the Not Just Boxing podcast. They've been supporting us since we were on 10,000 followers. If you have over 1,000 followers and you like to showcase your health and fitness journey, or if you're an up-and-coming boxer who likes making content, You can receive free products in return for just the story. You can also work on paid collabs where you set your own rates. They've worked with the likes of C4, Jimmy's Iced Coffee, and Skinny Food Co., and the list goes on. If you want to hit them up, use the code NJB to get started today. So, who do you want to fight right now in the welterweight division? What names are there? Oh, wow. I know obviously there's loads, but what's top of your hit list?
I could reel off loads of names and it probably won't happen.
Just a few.
Over the last 12 months, it's been David Avanesian. It was been the sole target and it didn't happen. Now he's got a great fight with Boots Ennis and like fair play to him and his team.
Who do you think wins?
Boots inside 5.
That was confident.
Yeah, but he's got that fight and you've got to give props to David. What is it, 5 weeks notice or something? And he's, I don't think it goes to the second half of the fight. Mm-hmm. My opinion. But, but there's names like you have Blair Cobbs who had a win over Adrian Broner last week. And Blair Cobbs kind of been a frustrated man for a long time. He had not fought since August 2 years ago, coming up 2 years, I think. Obviously, me and Blair's had a bit of back and forth in the past. He called me out fight week in LA, and nice guy. There's respect there for Blair Cobbs, even if he's a wacky character and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Boxing needs it, though.
Yeah, he beat an old problem, a kind of, you can't really... I don't want to slate Adrian Broner because he's a 4-weight world champion, but he's had lots of problems in and out of the ring, and, his life's been crazy for the last 10 years, probably. So I think Blair beat a washed-up problem. I'm a real problem, so... That would be a great fight, me against Blair, because of the history, and he's beat one problem, but this is a problem he won't beat.
How do you predict that fight ends?
A McKinson win, 100%. I was there ringside because he fought Alexis Rocha when I fought Alex Martin, who's a southpaw, different southpaw than me, but he got absolutely beat up. It was quite hard to watch at times, but I beat Blair Cobbs. I got too much for Blair Cobbs. And there's a lot of respect there between me and Blair. We've messaged each other in the past and stuff like that. But, you're not in this game to make friends. I would love the opportunity to fight Blair now that he's beat Broner.
Where is he ranked?
I don't know. He would have... He's relevant again. He beat Broner and it's a good win for him, so I haven't even checked where he's ranked since. But everyone kind of knows who Blair Cobbs is, don't they? Because of the... It wouldn't be hard to sell the fight. He does that himself.
It'd have to happen in America.
Yeah. Listen, I love going to the States to fight. I've done it twice, so don't mind doing it again. But there's loads of fights. Obviously, eyes are kind of on the European champion. Like, there could be a possibility in the future to fight him. Because my European ranking is high. Obviously, the British names, none of them really seem to be on my radar. Like, Lewis Crocker's getting some good momentum at the moment. I've sparred him in the past. That'd be a good fight. Harry Scarf just lost for the IBF Eliminator. Who else? Conor Benn. God knows what his situation is at the moment. Lucas Ballingall, he's in the welterweight division, he's crept up. No, but there's lots of names, and I don't shy away from any of them, as long as it makes sense kind of on being paid right, and it's a big name that people know, I'm happy to fight. Do you know what I mean? I travelled to Texas with a team of 7 people to fight Virgil Ortiz Jr. in his backyard. I do not fear any of these guys. Put me in with any... Just give me the opportunity. I'm... Who do I want to call out? Let me call out everyone. Mm-hmm. Because, I'll call out everyone. Surely one of them's going to want to fight me in the future.
So, as well, since some of your big paydays out in America, how has life changed for you? Has it been a lot easier because of financially you're not waiting for those ticket sales? How's it been?
Not really. Kind of. life's been the same. I've been on a couple of nice holidays and I bought a Rolex, but money goes. So, I've not had a decent fight since Ortiz. I thought that I was going to come back from Texas. I put in a good shift against Ortiz, and I'd done well. Probably done better than everybody else has. And everyone that was speaking to me when I was out there and speaking to me from home, boxing people were praising me. So, although it was hard to take my first defeat, I was on the plane home from Texas thinking, I've opened so many doors here. I'm going to be more respected. I'm going to get opportunities.
Them doors are still open.
They're still open because
it takes time.
Because I am a name now, kind of thing. But we're nearly 2 years down the line. I've boxed 3 8-rounders and a 10-rounder again at 5 o'clock on YouTube. It's wild how it's been. So I'm good enough. I genuinely believe I'm good enough to be a world champion. Crawford's kind of opened it up a little bit now, stepping up the 154. I am good enough to, I think I'm good enough to beat the number 1 for the WBC, Sissoko. I'm good enough to beat number 1 for the IBF. Karen, I sparred him a few years ago out in Spain, actually, the Ukrainian. I am good enough to mix with all these guys. I'm good enough to beat them. I just ain't got the opportunities.
Do you want to fight Boots Ennis before you retire?
Would love to. If I got that, I don't know if you've seen on my socials, when he didn't have an opponent the other day and Cody Crowley obviously failed the eye test, I went onto Twitter. I know you said earlier you don't really use Twitter, but I went onto Twitter and I went onto Instagram and wrote in the comments and tagged Eddie, Frank Smith. I was like, my phone's on. I've started camp anyway, for a summer fight, so my phone's on. And everyone knows I would take the fight as well, but I didn't get the opportunity. I didn't get the phone call because Boots, now he's with Matchroom, and I think it's his first fight for Matchroom. They want him to look good. So they're not going to pick a...
He will look good.
Yeah, so they're not going to pick a awkward southpaw that could make people look quite bad as his first fight. So it didn't happen. But if the call came, great. I fought Ortiz. I'll fight Boots, 100%.
Season 5 of the Not Just Boxing podcast is proudly sponsored by My Meal Prep. My Meal Prep have made it easy for you to stick to your diet goals as well as eating delicious, tasty, homegrown food. Make sure to use the code NJB20 to get 20% off your first order today. So to finish up, I just want to talk about your brother's win and hear your view of it ringside.
Yeah, okay.
So obviously your brother's just won the European title.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, he won the IBF European... was it 3 or 4 weeks ago now?
I think 3 weeks ago, yeah.
4-1 underdog. I'll put a little bit of money on him. Didn't tell him till after the fight though. But no, I'm really happy for him. It's something that Lucas started his pro career at featherweight on the day, weighing in on the day at featherweight. He went up to super feather, outgrown that really quick. Lightweight, outgrown that really quick. And by the time his opportunities came at that weight, he was drained making it. And he held on to weights for far too long. Even when he moved from lightweight, when he took his 2 defeats at lightweight, he moved from lightweight up to super lightweight and won the English. Even from that moment, I said, you need to move up the welter, because we see him in the gym, and there's obviously a lot of stories that Lucas is world class in the gym, so he needs to get his opportunities in the ring. But you can be world class in the gym, but it's all about performing on the night. In my head, I think the one thing that was missing was the weight. Just because he could have made the weight below, he didn't look good at the making the weight below, and I think he he should have moved from lightweight. Although he won the English and defended it, great. I thought he should have moved lightweight straight up to welterweight. He's that big. So,
especially because he spars you all the time.
Listen, he spars me, and when he's carrying the weight in camp and stuff like that, he's great. He's unreal. So I think now that he's up at welterweight, he made it well as well. He was 145, I think, on the day, and with the IBF, they have like a same-day weigh-in as well. So he's got a rehydration thing. He didn't put that much on compared to what he would at that weight. So he's at a lot healthier weight. And although he boxed well, that is still a fraction of what we see day in, day out. And I know I scream it in interviews over the last few years, like, he's the better brother, you should see him in the gym. Like, I don't just say it as a biased older brother. You asked anyone he's sparred, anyone in the UK he's sparred. He's a genuinely good fighter. So not only when he got the Casey Benjamin fight, he was stepping up in weight, but also stepping up levels of opposition that he's ever had as well.
Mm-hmm. He's a great fighter, Casey Benjamin.
He's a very good fighter. But we were still confident because in the back of my head, it was, I know it's because of the weight thing. Like, I genuinely did think. So he got in there and like Casey was very strong on the clinches and stuff. But when Lucas was getting into that rhythm, he was looking unbelievable, I think. I know the commentary didn't do him any favours, but he was the B-side. It's happened to me in the past, like winning a fight, but the commentary are well against you. That's how you win love. Mm-hmm. That's how you win love in the game, like going against commentary, going against the bookies and stuff like that. I've done it time and time again, and to see him do it, and like...
Everyone loves an underdog.
Yeah, I was watching Lucas's fight from ringside, and I had him in a handy lead, but then the guy next to me was getting texted. He was watching it from home, saying the commentary against him, they have it even. And I thought he's well in the lead. I thought he was clear. Going into round 9, I had him 7-2 up. And then he was having an all right round 10, but Casey Benjamin came out like he was well behind on the cards, and he went for broke. He came out like a true champion does, to be fair. And Lucas was exhausted. He had to put in a hard shift. It was a hard 10 rounds for him. He really did. His energy levels were on point, Lucas's. And then in that last round, he went down. When he went down, it all went in slow motion a little bit for me.
Yeah.
But he got up and he still had his legs. And if anything, he got up and went, like you'd think he went straight to Casey and put on Casey. We was like, no. But he finished the fight like a champion. And before the fight, Lucas said, he's willing to go somewhere, like he's willing to go anywhere to get that win, and he really showed that. And although the commentary were against us, the judges weren't, and that's all that matters. I'm over the moon for him because he's had it quite hard. He's had title fights fall through. Like, he's fought once a year for the last 3 years. It's ridiculous. His activity is ridiculous, and to see him get that win against his best opponent, I was so proud. This is nothing for Lucas. Lucas is going to go on way further than that level. I really do believe it. But he's had bad luck, and then he's had to watch his big brother go fight in America twice and have these big opportunities, which I didn't have opportunities for a long time, but then they all kind of came at once. I had a good couple of years. He's had to watch me, and he's just as good as me, and he's, it must be, like, at times I felt kind of guilty getting the opportunities because he deserves opportunities too, do you know what I mean? So I was really proud of him to get to win the other day, and now kind of he's got something, and he's going to get opportunities off the back of that, definitely. So yeah, we're both ruled the 147 division. I'll share it with him.
So I'm guessing you two, Fratton Park is the dream. Same
against
fight night,
each other.
Same card. No.
I'll tell you what. If you see us spar, he wins probably 9 out of 10 spars. He gets the better of me, and that's a fact. Yeah.
I said to him, "Would you fight your brother?" And he said, "Well, we do it for free all the time. Like, why not?" Obviously, they wouldn't let it.
Do you know what? I took liberties on him growing up. He was always really small. And whenever you used to spar, I did take a few liberties on him. And then as he's got older, he takes the liberties on me. There's been a lot of times in the past in sparring that things have had to be like split up and calm down. Over the last few years, it's kind of been a little bit better. But, when I spar him, every shot he throws, he wants to do something to me. He does, for real. But listen, what if we ever fought? I said it to him the other day, right? He'll probably, in preparations, I'm just looking at him over there, but in preparations, he'll probably beat me up for 10 weeks in camp, and then I'll nick a points win on the night. That's what'll probably happen. But no, but I'd love to fight on the same card as him again. It's been years and years and years. It'll probably happen. But yeah, Portsmouth boxing's thriving at the moment with obviously Mark Chamberlain getting some great opportunities. He's flying.
He's looking great out in Saudi as well. He's had some really good wins.
And it's unbelievable because we're from a small town, really. Portsmouth's tiny. And in boxing, not really a lot of success has ever happened in pro boxing. You've had Tony Oki, that bought TV, me, Mark, and now Lucas is doing something. So what Mark's doing is great. So the more eyes we can get on Portsmouth, the better.
Ebony as well.
Ebony, she's
early on in her career.
Still early on, but she was a great amateur, and hopefully she can do the same as a pro. I know she works very hard. We boxed for the same amateur club probably when she was 12, 13 years old, and she was kind of outrunning people, the boys my age, and taking it more serious than most of the lads at that early age as well. So yeah, always rooting for Portsmouth, no matter if they're our team or not, as long as they're being successful and representing Portsmouth the right way, then I'm always rooting,
Brilliant. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on again, mate, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Nice one, Ash. Thank you.